Welcome back. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I actually had COVID. I'm probably one of the last people in the world to get it, and it knocked me out for about half a week, and then it took another week to recover mostly. I'm still recovering a little bit, but that's why I wasn't here. This week we're going to talk about the beast of a desk I've got behind me, because I've had quite a few people ask what setup I've got in terms of the monitors, my computer, and peripherals that I use on a day-to-day basis as well, to be able to keep editing photos and videos the way that I currently am. So instead of me talking, let's actually show you the desk that I'm currently using. If you've been watching regularly since I got to Thailand, you will notice this desk has actually moved around quite a bit. But I think I finally have it in an ideal location where I can do all the work I need to do on a daily basis here on the desk comfortably. I've got easy access to the shelving unit behind me for when I want to pack my bag to go to take photos, or when I'm setting up to do product photography on my old dining table that is sitting here on the side. Because this way everything is in a nice U shape and it's all within easy reach of each other without having to get up and move too many things around. Everything that you see here on this desk was provided by me, or family for that matter. None of it was actually provided by the companies they come from. None of these are sponsored in any way. This was all purchased by myself or family members. Before we get to the desk, let's actually just start with the chair I'm sitting on, which is a OneX gaming chair. Normally, I wouldn't advise to get a gaming chair because they're not actually that comfortable to sit in for many hours on it. This one is much more comfortable than the gaming chair I used to have back in Sydney, which I forget which one it was, because it's wider, it's more customizable, and it's just more comfortable. I can't actually fault it too much because I can sit here all day and my back doesn't hurt, which to me is the most important thing. As for the desk itself, this is actually custom made by the same carpenters who did my kitchen, so you can't go into a shop and buy this. It's actually 2x1 meters and made out of teak wood, so it's quite heavy. It's probably close to, if not more than 30 kilos, but it was finished very nicely. It's nice and large. It's got space for me to do all the things that I want to do on here without worrying about the desk being cluttered. If you look around, you'll actually notice there's quite a lot of empty space. I'm actually thinking if I can put a podcasting setup somewhere in one of these corners so that I can actually start doing podcasts as well as videos and everything else I do. Which, if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below and I'll keep you guys up to date on the podcast as it starts progressing. The desk itself is sitting on two of those IKEA Alex drawers, which I know they're very popular. I used to have them. I've had one version or another for many years now. And it's because they do a good job. The one behind me, because it's so close to the shelving unit, I don't use it that much. It's just for stuff that I use very, very rarely. But at least it's not sitting on my desk taking up space or causing a cluttered mess in the shelving unit. It's just there in case I need it. The one in front of me I use for daily use. So it's got my stationery, wallet, headphones, external hard disks. Stuff that I would use quite regularly sits there, and I can get it very quickly and easily if I need to without worrying about hitting the shelving unit like the one that's behind me as we speak. And also, to make sure the desk stays balanced and doesn't fall over, I put a couple extra legs back there from IKEA, because that way I know that I can put whatever I want on here. It's nice and strong and stable. And I've also added one of their cable racks because, considering how many devices you're going to see, there are cables coming out everywhere, and it was an absolute mess until I got that cable rack. But at least now with it, everything's nicely tucked away and I almost never see it, and when I want to put my feet up, I won't feel it either. Behind the two monitors, I've got my Gigabyte gaming laptop, which I've had for nearly 2 years now, and it's still working relatively well. It does struggle sometimes a little bit when I'm editing in 4K, but beyond that, I have nothing to complain about. The laptop's actually sitting on a Belkin USB hub which plugs into the Thunderbolt port. The big downside of it though is that it cannot support my two monitors. If I had one plugged into the hub and another one plugged into the laptop, it still wouldn't be supported properly. So right now it's literally just there to support any external hard disk and my speakers. It doesn't even let me work properly with my wireless keyboard or gaming keypad. I may eventually need a better USB hub, but for now, everything's plugged into the laptop and it's all running fine, so I can't really complain too much. They're both sitting on top of an IKEA shelving unit, which it does have a drawer, but that's completely empty. It's just there so that any external hard disk and cables can sit under there where I can't see them, and it just helps keep the desk a little bit cleaner. So it's just there for aesthetic purposes only. And now for the best part of this setup, which is the monitors. They're both 27-inch 4K 60Hz monitors. This is a BenQ SW271C, I think. And this is an Asus ProArt PA279CV. They are both 10-bit color monitors, although the Asus is HDR compatible, but the BenQ isn't, which is fine for me because I hardly use HDR anyway, so that's not much of an issue. But they are an absolute dream to work on. Once you've got a setup like this with two 4K monitors, it's very hard to go down to one 4K monitor. Granted, I could work with one and use my laptop as a second monitor, but I've got so much screen real estate space here that if I want to work on photos, videos, admin, emails, whatever the case may be, I'm not short on space. I can do practically anything I need to do, and it's never an issue for me. I'm never thinking, I wish I had a third monitor, which I don't think my laptop could even support anyway if I wanted to. Both monitors did come color calibrated from the factory, but no matter which profile I chose, I couldn't get the two colors to match up with anything they had. And because I sell prints of my photos, I need to make sure that whatever I'm looking at on the screen is going to show up on paper, like the one that I've got here up here on the wall, because otherwise what you get doesn't match what you see, and then that's an issue. And that's not an issue I want to have. I want to know that what I see here is going to end up there. No problems, no dramas, no color differences. Because I couldn't get the colors to match, I just went ahead and calibrated them myself with the Spider X Pro that I got last year as well. And now I know that if I use either of the monitors, whatever I'm looking at is going to be accurate and is going to come out on the print. Do you need to get two 4K monitors like this? No. Does it help to have it? Yes. And if you are going to use it, calibrate it if the color accuracy is something that matters to you, because that way you know exactly what you're looking at is exactly what you're going to get. It's corrected the color, the brightness, the contrast, all of it. So that way I know everything I'm looking at is 100% or at least 99% accurate. I don't know if anything's 100% accurate. Now, both monitors are actually sitting on monitor arms. Like, they do come with stands, but they're not the prettiest things to look at. And I wanted the ability to move the monitors around where necessary as well. I drilled a couple holes and stuck the monitor arms in there, and now they're exactly at the angle, height, and setup that I need so that I can work efficiently, whether it's for 8, 9, 10, 11 hour days. If you do drill into a table though, just bear in mind that once you've drilled into it, it's very hard to fill up the hole again. And speaking of drilling, I'll quickly talk about cable management because it's something I think everyone should spend a bit of time on. I've actually drilled two bigger holes behind the monitor arms just for the cable management purposes, where all the cables from the monitors, the gaming keypad, the speakers, my phone chargers, everything goes through those holes, nicely cable tied and managed underneath the desk. Below the monitors, I've got some AudioEngine A2 speakers sitting on stands because apparently that helps reduce the vibration between the speakers and the desk. But also, the more you have them pointed towards your ears, the more accurate of a listening experience you're going to get. I'm not an audiophile, so I can't say how accurate that is. That's just information that I've seen. So if I'm right or wrong, or if that information is right or wrong, please let me know in the comments below. And these are plugged into the laptop through a USB cable instead of a standard audio cable like you would get with your earphones, because apparently you get a better signal through that way. Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but having used them for a couple months now, I can't fault the quality that comes out of it. Now, I do have my standard peripheral sitting on a big mouse pad, which is from HyperX. I've always preferred either having a big mouse pad that has everything or no mouse pad, because I don't like a standard mouse pad. It always just gets in the way of the keyboard. This one is about 90 by 40 centimeters. It's whatever the standard neoprene material is, and I can't complain about it. It's easy to look after and maintain. For a mouse, I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3, which I got last year when I was in Sydney, and I can't fault it. Initially, I got it because it syncs between 3 devices, so between my laptop and my work laptop, I was able to swap very easily with the press of a button. Now, I've only got one laptop, so that's not an issue, but at the same time, it's very comfortable to use because it's quite ergonomic. You know, you can rest your whole hand on there without any issues. The battery on it lasts for a very long time and plugs into the front, so at least if I need to charge it, I can still keep using it. And because it doesn't just have vertical scrolling, but it's also got horizontal scrolling, I can edit videos on my timeline a lot easier than when I didn't have the mouse. You can customize it if you want to, but I found that the way it's just come right out of the box has suited my needs very well that I don't see the need to change anything. For keyboards, I'm using the Microsoft Ergonomic Sculpt, which I've got for a couple reasons. One is that the number pad is completely detached from the keyboard, so when I don't need it, it's not sitting there getting in the way. But when I do, I can easily access it off my desk. But there's other reasons as well. I like the shape of the keyboard. Typing on it is very comfortable for long hours. I can sit here and type for hours on end without thinking about it. One of the last things is my gaming keypad, which is the Razer Tartarus V2. And no, I don't actually use it for gaming. I use it just for keyboard shortcuts. If you use Photoshop a lot, or DaVinci Resolve, or Premiere Pro, you know what I mean, in that there are keyboard shortcuts for everything. And because I like things to be as efficient as possible, instead of having to memorize keyboard shortcuts or always rely on the mouse, I was able to set up multiple profiles, one for each program that I use, and change those keyboard shortcuts into one of the keys on this keypad. So instead of having to press multiple keys to do something like resize an image, I press one button and it brings up the window for me. And it's all configured in a way so it's easy for me to use. The keys I use very often are right in front of my fingers. The ones I use quite often, you just have to stretch a little bit. But it makes editing anything in any system that I use that much faster compared to keyboard shortcuts or the mouse. And then lastly is just my chargers. I've got a dedicated phone charger here, which it isn't a fast charger, but you put your phone on there and it sits at an angle so you can see whenever someone calls or messages you. That way, if you need to answer it, you can, or ignore it if you want to. As well as an extra USB-C cable to charge my iPad when I've used it for long periods of time. That way I know that it's always fully charged, so if I want to go work on the sofa or if I have to go out and about and bring the iPad with me, I never have to worry about the battery dying on me, and I can do practically any admin task that I want to do when I'm out and about. I don't actually do any editing on the iPad. I know I can, I just choose not to. But that is pretty much everything about this desk. If you do have any questions about any of the equipment I've talked about on here, please let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I may do an in-depth review on the monitors. If it is something that you're interested in seeing, please let me know and I'm happily do that as well. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. If you have liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. That will be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see where I am next week, assuming I don't get sick again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tick that little bell so you get a notification when a new video is released. But I think I'll leave it there for now, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.